far above the lake. An invisible ray of light was suspended in the sky, and the vast and majestic soul power, like a tide, was centered on it and quickly swept out in all directions. At this moment, in the entire small mountain range, except for a few extremely powerful except for the rank monsters, the rest of the monsters felt an extremely strong soul pressure. Under this kind of soul pressure, their bodies could not help but tremble slightly. Xiao Yin is so powerful that he can actually use his soul power to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to replenish himself. Yuru couldn't help looking at Xiao Yin in the air. After getting to know Xiao Yin from the Alchemist Association at the beginning, Xiao Yin caused a huge shock to Yuru everywhere, and later he rescued his father, which also caused Yuru to have some different emotions, although Xiao Yin also has some feelings. What she noticed, but Xiao Yin thought that she was grateful to her father for saving her, and didn't think about it at all. Yuru looked at the invisible light in the sky, the vast soul power. Even her father, I am afraid there is a feeling of panic. Her father's strength is reflected in strength, but if it is compared to the soul, the two fathers may not be able to keep up with the current Xiao Yin. The soul power that spreads out like a tide. After nearly a few minutes, it gradually dissipated, and the invisible light slowly appeared under Yuru's gaze. The light dissipated, and a figure with a heavy ruler in black appeared faintly. Upon closer inspection, it was Xiao Yin, but now that Xiao Yin's body was much better than before. Recovered? Yueru also said happily. Xiao Yin's repeated efforts to save himself must be more than just friendship. Yuru's pink face couldn't help but think. However, Yueru also knows that the soul is too illusory for the powerhouses of this era, and the power of the soul is colorless and invisible. If you want to condense the soul of nothingness into the shape of a human and not leave it for a long time, even some powerhouses of the Do-D level are difficult to do. Let's go too. I can feel that there is no dragon demon core here, so I can only go to the main hall to try my luck. Xiao Yin also recovered his strength and said to Yueru. In fact, the previous battle with Mueller did not consume much strength, but Xiao Yin deliberately went late to save some trouble. Thank you for the crescent moon green fruit. Yuru followed Xiao Yin with her lips lightly biting. It's nothing to worry about. Xiao Yin also laughed. As time passed by, more and more people gathered in the depths of the ruins. An ancient stone gate slowly blocked in front of the main hall, because everyone present knew that once they crossed the stone gate, there would be countless wealth and wealth behind, and even more immortal-level fighting skills. Gongfa, even rare treasures of heaven and earth. This is the greatest wealth. However, they are also clear that this relic limits their strength, so the stone gate in front of them will definitely not be able to break through, so they can only wait until the seal is weakened and slowly open. However, at this rate of weakening, it will be opened in no more than 3 days at most. Let's settle down here now. It seems that we can only wait. Even in the ruins, there is a distinction between day and night, and in a blink of an eye, night comes. In an empty forest, a bonfire silhouetted the two figures. It was Xiao Yin and Yueru. Let's taste it. Xiao Yin picked up a chicken leg and said to Yueru. The temperature at night was a bit low, so Xiao Yin made a fire and grabbed a low-level monster as a food to barbecue to satisfy his hunger. Even if the Do-D strong man did not eat for a few days, it would not affect him, because the Do-D strong man could rely on heaven and earth. Reiki replenishes itself. I don't rely so much on whole grains, but I don't eat it for nothing, right? Breakthrough. I didn't think the barbecue you made was quite delicious. Yuru also gently tore a little into her mouth, and the familiar taste made her appetite greatly increased. Haha, I've been away all the year round, and these things will gradually get better. Xiao Yin is not as elegant as Yuru, and he gulps down the barbecue in front of him. Bang, bang, bang. The three leaves charge toward Xiao Yin, and the two with overwhelming energy. Yueru, be careful. Xiao Yin has been walking outside all year round, so naturally he has the awareness that he cannot let his guard down at all times. The strange fire all over the body was instantly activated, and the three leaves were instantly turned into nothingness. Yueru obviously didn't expect someone to attack them so late, and she was also taken aback. Fortunately, Xiao Yin reminded her, and she immediately entered the battle preparations. Who are you? Sneaky. Xiao Yan's soul power locked on the trail of the person who attacked them at the moment when the mysterious man made his move. Come out! A milky white flame went towards the position where the mysterious man was standing. The flames brought bursts of high temperature, as if possessing wisdom, which forest trees were bypassed directly, and the mysterious man was hit directly. Was it discovered? A big tree upload comes from talking to itself. Bang! The mysterious man jumped off the big tree and fell into Xiao Yan's field of vision. The average man is innocent and guilty. The crescent moon green fruit is a good thing, but if you don't have the strength to protect it, you will only give your life in vain. Suddenly a voice came out from the mountain, and only one figure was seen walking out. In that forest, there was only one. The figure stood still. His body was sturdy, like an iron tower. His eyes glanced away, and his eyes were filled with a strong desire for war. Like a ferocious ape, he grinned at Xiao Yin and laughed loudly. Then, without any hesitation, he stomped the soles of his feet, and his body rose to the sky, and he walked toward Xiao Yin after a few jumps. It doesn't make you worry about it. Xiao Yin also said coldly. Yueru, who was beside him, naturally recognized this person, and Mueller is known as the heavens chosen, one of the 8 great cities of Qingqing. Sun Ming, a born fighting maniac. This person turned out to be the late Samsung Do Di. However, Xiao Yin is also not afraid. He possesses the 3 mysterious transformations of heavenly fire, and also has the immortal rank fighting skill of Eternal Fire, Eternal Ancient Ruler, Soul Attack, and Eclectic Fire has obvious suppressing effect on such people. I didn't mean to come here today. I just wanted to confirm whether the recently rumored Xiao Yin is as powerful as the rumors. After speaking, he also looked at Xiao Yin carefully, and then waved away casually. It's not so much that I am interested in what you have on your body. It is better to say that you actually defeated Mueller, who was in the middle stage of the Samsung Do Emperor, by virtue of your strength in the early stage of the Samsung Do Di, which really surprised me. You will be a very good opponent. There will be a meeting in the depths of the ruins. Then let's see if you have the ability. Xiao Yin also responded with a smile. Is there anything in me that deserves their attention? Xiao Yin was also puzzled. It should be your strange fire. Although these living dead are cold and cold, it is not ruled out that they will do strange experiments with strange fires like heaven and earth. The Golden Dragon King also said slowly, Forget it, take one step at a time. One night of silence. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. The seal of the stone gate in front of everyone also weakened at this moment and is about to open. Outside Sherman was crowded with people, and the 3-day boring wait was over. Crash! The space in front of me is violently distorted. It made a rushing sound like water, and with the spread of this sound, the fluctuations in that space became more and more violent. Looking at this momentum, Sherman is about to open. There was no lack of humane with vicious eyes. Looking at the energy seal that became more and more illusory under the fluctuations. Outside the sea of people, the eyes of countless people quietly glowed red, and even their breathing became much heavier, holding weapons. The palms are also slowly exerting force. I don't know what kind of blood there will be in a competition for treasures. Xiao Yin also said with emotion. Then Xiao Yin looked at the increasingly distorted space with his eyes narrowed. In the strange clattering sound, he felt an extremely terrifying energy fluctuation. This fluctuation was extremely manic, as if being suppressed in the volcano under the Earth's crust is like a crazy eruption. Crash! There was another strange rushing sound. The distorted space suddenly condensed, and then there was only a crisp bang. The distorted space was like a fragile glass, with a pop, burst into countless tiny space debris. Come on, the ruins are open. At the moment when the seal of space burst, there were countless figures around the sea of people. Their eyes were immediately red, and there was a low, greedy roar from their throats. With the gradual opening of the stone gate, a desolate and ancient aura slowly drifted out, causing many people to look solemn. For many people, things from the ancient times were quite sacred. Seeing the open stone gate, Xiao Yin moved, swept back lightly, and then returned to his previous position. Seeing his actions, many people twitched their mouths and cursed at the treacherous person in their hearts. Boy, Xiao Yin made it clear that he did not want to be the first to enter this mysterious ruin. The door slowly opened, and the creaking sound gradually ceased. Everyone in the square looked at each other, but no one dared to set foot in it first. Xiao Yin ignored the silence outside Sherman. He touched Na Jie with his fingers, and the smile on the corner of his mouth was quite bright. He didn't expect that he had just entered the ruins. The Golden Dragon King sensed the dragon demon core. Outside the Sherman, there will be some strong men from time to time coming from outside. Obviously some strong men who discovered the opening of the stone gate, and seeing more and more strong men coming together. Those who arrived first, the people, and the forces couldn't hold it any longer. After a while, someone finally walked into the stone gate slowly and couldn't help it. The screams were endless. Fast back. Compared with these sullen people, Xiao Yan's expression changed at the moment when the space exploded. He grabbed Yuru beside him, a little tree trunk at his toes, and his body suddenly retreated. The 5 major cities beside him. The proud son of heaven also sensed something was wrong, reacted extremely quickly, and immediately retreated without hesitation. When Xiao Yin and the others retreated, there were suddenly a lot of figures on the surrounding giant trees, and they were obviously also finding something. Just as Xiao Yin and the others retreated violently, the shards of the space seal that burst open suddenly stopped, and then only a loud bang was heard. The power of the violent space, like a storm, swept away in all directions, and those who rushed the fastest were the first to bear the brunt. Almost in the blink of an eye, were swallowed by the storm. Immediately, shrill screams resounded one after another on the sea of fire. The scum that was swallowed up is not left. This space seal is so terrifying. The violent spatial ripples, like harvesting wheat, destroyed all the crowds that were rushing in front of them, leaving no room for them. On the other hand, some of the powerhouses in the back finally realized that something was wrong, so the crowd that was rushing forward suddenly turned around and fled in embarrassment. Tens of thousands of figures are constantly moving in series, because if they don't run, they will be waiting for them. Let them be greedy, and they have to have that life to enjoy. That's why this scene is in front of them. Bang! Because there was a certain distance. When the space storm spread, it would not cause any harm to Xiao Yan and others. At this time, the few people breathed a sigh of relief, and when their eyes swept away, they saw countless miserable howls. The screaming figure rolled on the ground, and the bright red blood stained a large area of land outside Sherman. What a terrifying space seal. After countless years, it can still have such a terrifying impact. It is worthy of being a relic of the peak of the Emperor Do. See the destructive power caused by this space fluctuation. Surroundingly, A look of shock appeared on the cheeks of the honored sons of the 8 great cities and others. Let's go. These guys are too impatient and deserve bad luck. Xiao smiled and waved his palm, and his figure turned into a rainbow glow, swept away at the stone gate. At the same time, many other powerhouses who had also successfully avoided the spatial fluctuations also immediately cast the figure turned into blurred silhouettes and swept into the stone gate. The Emperor's Cave has finally opened at this moment. With the gradual approach, some of the gray fog floating in the stone gate gradually became thinner, and the behemoth finally appeared in the field of vision of Xiao and others. Stepping into the stone gate and looking around, the deepest part of the stone gate is a great hall, a huge hall nearly 1,000 feet huge, almost like a small mountain peak. The Soul Hall Branch Hall has become abnormally small. Looking up at this gigantic creature standing between heaven and earth, a sense of insignificance arises spontaneously. Then the so-called Great Fortune should be where? The people present also understood. The whole body of the giant hall was red, and from a distance, it seemed like a flame was rising. In this gray-white space, it was extremely dazzling. The surrounding powerhouses were also a little lost because of the large scale of the Crimson Giant Hall. After a while, they came back to their senses and looked at each other with shocking expressions in their eyes, worthy of being the Emperor level. Left by the strong, such handwriting is indeed majestic and atmospheric. Chi-chi. One after another, the figures gradually slowed down, and then stopped a few hundred meters away from the stone gate. Standing here, the giant hall was even more huge. At a glance, the top of the giant hall seemed to be inserted into a cloud peak. No wonder it has to be covered up with a space seal. Such a huge hall. Wherever it is placed, it is a conspicuous existence. Xiao also said in surprise, "Let's go this way. My soul power has sensed the breath of dragon monsters," Xiao said while pulling Yuru. "Then why don't we go to the main hall? What about the Great Fortune?" Yueru also said in a heartbeat. Although Yueru didn't have much hope for the Great Fortune, she wanted to see it. If it was so easy to get, it wouldn't be Great Fortune. Go! Xiao also knew that the top priority was to find the Dragon Demon Core first.